Welcome to Funnels of Legacy. I'm your host, Joey Anderson, and guys, this is episode 2.
This is Funnels of Legacy.
I just want to thank you for being on this journey with me as I take a company from zero, from the beginning, up to $1 million in revenue in 12 months using a new version of ClickFunnels that just came out a little bit ago, version 2.0. I got to remind you to get the most out of this show. Be sure to watch or listen from the beginning, episode 1. So watch these in sequential order. And I want to also remind you that I don't have internet marketing experience or funnel building experience. I did, however, bootstrap a few of my own companies to the 7-figure territory rather quickly, a couple of them within 12 months as well. So, of course, I'm going to be applying all the lessons I've learned in the process, building those companies and applying it here today. So I'll also share that insight as I go along. The industry, though, that I'm building a business around this time is going to be a completely new endeavor for me, but it's something I've been passionate about and a passionate student in the financial freedom space for nearly, I would say, 20 years. And I believe that through my own successes and experiences, I'm going to be able to help others demystify what it actually takes to stop trading time for money and begin living life to the fullest. In the last 15 years or so, I've spent over $100,000 in books, seminars, coaching, courses, all that good stuff, just to acquire the specialized knowledge I currently have in finance, business, and investing. So what I want to do is build something around what I'm actively doing. You know, what's working for me right now and for others, and most importantly, what will continue to work as we continue to navigate through these increasingly hostile financial times. So in the last episode, we ended off with some goals, right? These were the foundational items that needed to take place for me to move forward. And I set a couple promises in there. Number 1 was that I was going to create a video this week, which here we are. The other one was I needed to learn ClickFunnels 2.0. The new ClickFunnels is a complete beast in capability. However, I cannot stress enough that you must have the patience in the learning process. I had the original ClickFunnels for years, but really did nothing with it. I was paying for a service that I didn't even utilize for anything more than just creating a homepage for a couple of my companies. So it was a single page where it had like a logo, a little bit about what we did, and then an email address to reach out or a phone number. That's it. There was no lead capture, nothing like that. But the reason I always kept ClickFunnels was because I knew what it was capable of, and I knew that one day I would want to take full advantage of the platform. And that day has finally come. So when you first get ClickFunnels, it's vital that you go through the training and learn the basics. However, you can't just go through the videos and not do anything about it, right? You must be willing to pause, follow along, and then take action when necessary, especially when you're building. So this is how I went through the training. Pretty much how it was recommended, exactly how it was recommended. I started with the Getting Started section on the left-hand side. Then I did the Funnel Builder Foundations. Then I did the Core Funnels section. So under the core funnels, we're told to pick one of the 12 funnels and master it. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I chose a squeeze page funnel, and that's where I'm at today. So over the last week, I crammed dozens of hours of videos, and under the Getting Started, some of the training videos you can listen to a bit more casually because it's speakers from like past events, funnel hacking lives, stuff like that were on stage and they're presenting. So it's not actually building your funnel yet. It's more of just learning and conceptualizing. And I was able to get through a lot of it either driving or at the gym, mostly. However, be prepared to pause and take notes. That's what I found myself doing a lot. I mean, every time you hear a gold nugget or something that resonates with you, something you want to remember, you pause and you take the note. So after those initial videos, though, you have to be prepared to sit at the desk. I was sitting at my desk, focused, phone off, eliminated all distractions, and having to execute as necessary. Just as it gave me an action step, I would pause the video and do it. So there's still a bit more initial training that I have to do. However, what I needed to complete to start building in ClickFunnels is done. What I did not want to do is get stuck into this paralysis by analysis trap that so many of us get stuck into and that I have in the past, just saying, oh, I need to completely finish this and learn this before I take any action whatsoever. If you're packing the car and about to go on a road trip, you don't wait for all the street lights up between here and there to turn green before you take off, right? No, all you need is that next step at a time. And that was my approach here. So my next goal from last week was to create an offer and a squeeze page to collect email addresses. Now, creating the offer was a struggle for me. Something that I've had to work on my entire life is really the ability to organize the sporadic thoughts in my head, right? And be able to articulate what it is I have to say in a way that makes sense. So writing things out helps me a lot. It's really the only way I can get through even these episodes and make any sense at all. Otherwise, I would be all over the place. And what I discovered a few years ago is that writing, it really is like the master key to opening one's deep and even suppressed core beliefs and your forgotten experiences. So I want to share with you a little bit about my process here and how I went through some of the steps to kind of get to where I'm at right now in the process of creating content. Last week with you, I declared what I intend to help others attain. My elevator pitch, if you will. So what I want to do is show people how to expedite attaining financial freedom for them to eliminate their distraction of trading time for money. So instead, they can focus on living a life of fulfillment. And the way I came up with this is by asking myself some questions, which is also the way that I came up with my free offer, okay? So it all began with a notepad, an actual notepad, and a pen, all right? And these are the questions that I asked myself, right? Who am I serving? What are they looking for? Where are they at right now in their life? Where do they want to be? And what's holding them back? And I went several layers deep on this and just wrote any randomness that came to mind, okay? There was some intense visualization going on and it led to a lot of great insight. However, there's also moments where a couple minutes go by and you have nothing. And I mean absolutely nothing. But then a random thought entered your head that you think means nothing, right? That is completely worthless at the moment to you. But I wrote it down anyway. Then that would lead to something else. Then that would lead to something else. And then eventually it would lead to something that I felt was really good and that I liked. And I'm not a huge fan of writing, but I feel this is so effective and I can't argue with the results it brings. When it comes to writing too, I really believe that it's a way to tap into your subconscious, especially when you get into that flow state and don't think about what the thing is you're going to write. You just put pen to paper and you start writing. All right. So my declaration of what I wanted to help others accomplish helped me to have that laser focus on any content that I was going to create moving forward. And I've already accomplished the thing that I want to help others do. But now what I need to do is start coming up with the content specifically in my free offer. I need to figure out how I got to where I was at. And these are the questions that I asked myself to figure that out, right? So when I started this journey as an adult at 17 years old when I first moved out, so just over 20 years ago, there were some pivotal moments in my life, forks in the road, if you will, where I had to make a choice. I had to make a decision. And these are some of the questions that I asked myself to help me, I guess, come to the front of my brain what it is I will be teaching people. So the first question was, what was a time in my life where there was a major fork in the road and the path that I chose had a lasting impact on the person that I've become today? That was the big question. That was question number one. And all these moments, I wrote down as many as I could, and I came up with 15 pretty big ones. Not all of them were related to financial freedom or finances, but there were 15 great moments that were pivotal for me in my life. And again, I wasn't focusing on how relative they were to what I'm trying to accomplish. I just wanted to answer that question as many times as I could, with as many moments as I could, and be as specific as I could. So once I finished that, the second question I asked myself was, what did I learn from the decision I made, and how will it help me fulfill my mission statement to help other people? The declaration I made, right? Could I use that moment and what I learned to help other people? So now that let me get another layer deeper and even find how I could help people in the decisions that I thought weren't relative before in my life in this field. And let me just get, again, deeper. And then the third question I asked myself is, how can I teach the lesson that I learned to someone else in the simplest way possible? Now, for someone who has struggled for over a decade with the lack of clarity and what I could offer other people, because, I've been toying around with this idea for years, creating some sort of info product, selling it online, and I think most people have. I never knew what that thing was. So with this exercise and asking myself these three questions, when I was done, I felt like I had struggled. I had more focus now and more clarity now in an hour and a half than I ever did in the previous 10 years. So I started writing, and there were hot moments where stuff was just flowing. I still had to focus on what my free offer on the squeeze page was going to be. So what I did was I just itemized everything that I wrote down, and I was just looking at it, rereading it, and I was taken back. And I guess I had this epiphany, this moment where I remembered something that I preached to my kids all the time. And it never really entered my brain on a conscious level. It's just something that was inherent in me that I would always say and always teach them. And I knew it was something that they were never going to teach in school. And it's something that I've been personally doing for a long time now. And it's something that every single person in a free country should be doing to dramatically expedite attaining financial freedom. And that's when I had the moment. I'm like, this is exactly what I'm going to do. This is a powerful principle that could be taught with a simple, single page drawing. And after sketching it out, I know I could even go a step further. I had this blueprint of what I was going to teach. And it was my, ratchety drawing, and I wanted to elevate it a little bit more. So I went to Fiverr.com and I paid somebody a few bucks to take that drawing and turn it to something a bit more easier on the eyes. And 2 days later, well, I had my free offer, guys. And I decided to go even a step further and tell this guy, hey, turn this into a PowerPoint for me. Because what I wanted to do is create a walkthrough video explaining this blueprint that I just created. And it was like such a satisfying moment. I'm like, all this time, all these years that I've been spending trying to figure this thing out, and I came up with it and just started rolling together. And when I think about everything that I've learned over the last week by just doing, taking a little bit of action, one step at a time, which leads to something else, it's like you don't need to know all the steps that you have to do. Just take that next step. And the step after that tends to reveal itself. It's funny how that works, right? So anyway, I was feeling amazing. I'm like, this thing looks really strong. I was impressed. So I had an offer that finally can teach something very simple, yet so profound. And I believed that this teaching is the critical baseline for attaining financial freedom, yet it's so often ignored by almost everyone, right? And the people who apply it, it's just in the single percentage of people in the country. And maybe they do it subconsciously, maybe they do it consciously, I don't know, but this is something that was pivotal for me. And another thing I had to overcome, and I have to, and this is something I'm guilty of, not just with this, but in my personal life, I have to stop assuming that people know everything that I know just because it comes easy to me or something that I've known for a long time. So I can't dismiss the thing that I'm about to teach, and I can't assume that other people understand it. I have to rewind and understand and remember how I learned it, because not everybody went through my experiences, and not everybody went through your experiences. So the thing that comes easy to you that you feel like, oh man, I do this without even thinking, that's the thing that you probably want to show and teach other people how to do. And this is when the wheel started turning for me. So once this was done, I felt really good about the value I was about to provide for nothing more than an email address, right? This is my free offer. And I decided to name it something where a .com domain was available. Boom, pulled the trigger, bought the domain. Now, regardless of how amazing I think this information was, if people didn't want it, then it wasn't going to go anywhere. So I started creating my actual squeeze page in ClickFunnels with the premise of selling people on what they want and giving them what they need. So the way I interpret this is in sales, in my sales experience, you would always sell people on the result, right? Sell person on the result so they buy, and then you give them the tool that they need when they check out to attain the result that you sold them on. So this is where I strongly recommend, again, you go through the getting started section in ClickFunnels training, where it teaches you the psychology behind all this, including, the popular hook story offer. They have a lot of great information there. And of course, beyond that initial training, there's through Funnel Flicks and all that, there's a plethora of training. You will not get bored. So using the ClickFunnels walkthrough, as far as the how-tos on building the page, ClickFunnels, it's a very easy to use interface. I was able to create my page actually way faster than I thought. So it also helped significantly that I had a plethora of notes of just from all my thinking and writing. So I had content for the page. So when it said, hey, you should write this here, you should write this on your squeeze page, I knew exactly what I was going to fill in because of the prior work that I did. It was very beneficial. So, is my squeeze page perfect? No, but I know that done is better than perfect. So I had to continue and move on. So at this point, a couple things I still had to focus on was the delivery of my offer, which is the PDF of my blueprint, and then the walkthrough video as I explain it, which is about 20 minutes long. Okay, so how was I going to give this to people? The other thing I had to still do is create my follow-up emails or my follow-up funnels, right? After the delivery of my free offer. So I chose not to provide the delivery of the offer on the thank you page and instead provide it in an email. So people were torn about this depending on who you ask, but I figured since the money is in the list, right? In the email list, and since I care more about the quality than the quantity of the emails in the list, I will build it out this way, right? If they want my free offer, they're going to have to provide a valid email and they're going to have to check their email to get it. Because I know that person is going to be of higher quality of somebody who just puts in an email and just to get the offer, right? So again, I followed the how-tos in the training for setting this up, setting up the delivery, and it was pretty straightforward. And the delivery email would even contain a link, okay? So it wouldn't even contain the PDF. In that email contains a link that would take somebody to the page where they can download the PDF, and then the video is automatically there with the walkthrough. Now, this might be an additional step. It is an additional step and maybe unnecessary, but it's something I could change in the future. I just felt that it was important, for them to see a video of me explaining the thing they're about to download, because I feel that it would also provide another layer of connection with the person. Could this blow up in my face? Absolutely. Could I change it to just include the PDF in the actual email that's delivered? Yeah, I could possibly do that in the future, but this is the way I'm going to do it right now. All right, so the next step that I had to do after that delivery email, right, was create the follow-up funnels, or the follow-up emails that would be coming through to someone after that delivery email. Now, the purpose of the follow-up funnels is a couple fold. Okay, so before even getting to that, I had to do a little bit of digging of how to do this in the new version of ClickFunnels. I had to go through training videos and search follow-up funnels in ClickFunnels 2.0, and even have some chats through ClickFunnels, some little side chats to figure this out, because it was complicated and difficult. But maybe I was just making it more difficult than what it needed to be, I'm sure. These guys, they responded quickly and they helped me out. They sent me some links and boom, sure enough, I was able to get it. And it's funny because the hard part is never technical, right? That just takes a little bit of time. The difficult part is getting through all the emotional barriers, like the one that I was about to go through. So I was talking about the funnels, right? And just writing them up. The follow-up funnel originally here for the free offer is a soap opera sequence, which is essentially the backstory of myself, of how I learned it or earned it. And in this email sequence, it's also going to guide that reader, the person who signed up for my offer, to get my next product, okay, which I don't even have yet. So what's nice, again, I was able to piggyback off all the pages of notes that I had from my previous brainstorming session, right? Because I had just written down 15 pivotal moments in my life, and I had a lot of content on that. So from this, I was going to generate my follow-up emails to tell my story of how I got to where I'm at from where I was. But I had to do this in 5 emails, and I didn't want to completely bore somebody, right? So again, I just followed the process and followed the coaching within the videos. And the most difficult part about this, where I was getting at, it wasn't the technical part, is this emotional mental barrier, was that I was about to go into my personal life in a way that I had never gone before. Like, I was about to share things about myself that some of my own family members don't even know. But as with everything, my why behind what I was about to do, or what I'm doing, was significantly greater than any obstacle I was going to face, especially this one, right? At this point in my life, I've gotten better at dismissing the fear way quicker than I would have a few years ago, okay? I could not possibly care any less of what others thought. This was my story in these emails, and that was that. And it's what I needed to do based on the training to connect to that person, right? And start building that relationship so they can know, like, and trust me. And I could share with them my experiences. So after a few focused hours, I was able to get these emails done. I started in a Word document, boom, and just started going. And then from there, I could copy and paste into ClickFunnels with the subject lines, again, based on recommendations, the pre-headlines, the signatures, and then I just created 24-hour delays between the emails. And again, the training helped a lot for this. And also the support from the chats. These guys helped quite a bit. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. You know, my goals were to deliver episode 2 to you today, which I obviously did. I wanted to go through ClickFunnels, go through that training process enough to create my free offer, my squeeze page, and the follow-up emails, which are live now. And you can actually get a link in the show notes and go see it. Is it perfect? No. Is it done? Yes. I believe it's good enough to work, right? What I want to do now is just a couple other things. I also wanted to tell you in this episode about what I was thinking after this free offer is done. What am I going to do? When does the money actually start coming in, right? This is just a lead capture. So it's going to be a multifaceted system. And again, let me see if I can get, what I'll end up doing is maybe put a screenshot of kind of my thought process. I have a whiteboard here on the side and I'm going to take a picture of it, post it on the video. You should see it right here. I'm thinking of a $7 offer, like initial offer, and then maybe like a $300 to $500 offer. And then from there, offering some sort of continuity that includes access to me or perhaps some group coaching, right? Something that's either a larger ticketed item or something that is some sort of monthly investment to get quality content and access to me. So this is just very preliminary right now as I'm learning what I have to do and how to do it. And I don't need to know everything right now, right? So I just need to get to the next step. And I have faith that the rest of it's going to reveal itself. So I'm going to keep educating myself and see where we go from here. But that's going to be the path that I'm taking as of right now. So as I said, I have a link to the early stages of my funnel in the show notes. You can view it there. The email sequence is up after delivery, so you could see it there. And as always, I'm open to feedback, right? I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know. Today is December 14th when this show launched, and I spent 30 plus hours of focused hours of plugging away at this so far, not counting the time that I was at the gym or listening to stuff in my car, but actually in front of my desk doing stuff, which is a bit longer than what I had imagined. So I want to make sure that for the rest of the month here, as we go into Christmas, I spend time with my kids as they're off from school. So episode 3 will be out in 2 weeks, December 28th, I believe it is. Yep. So here's what I'm looking to accomplish between now and then. I want to create my first paid offer, right? And I want to have that live. I want to have that live and be able to share it with you here on episode 3. This is going to require me to figure out what that offer is. I'm going to have to script it out. I'm going to have to create it. And I'm going to have to create the funnel for it. So also by next show, I want to have a launch date in place of when I will start sending paid traffic to that funnel. I don't want to get stuck in the trap where I'm waiting for perfection to launch. So I'm going to give myself 2 weeks and set a hard date. So December 28th on episode 3, that's when I'll say, okay, by this date, I'm going to have live traffic, paid traffic, Facebook ads, or whatever it is, going to this funnel to see how it works. All right. So I want to send some paid traffic, get some feedback off that, see how it goes, and then take the next steps from there. So check out the link to my funnel in the show notes and let me know what you guys think. Episode 2 is in the books. Merry Christmas. And I'll be back in 2 weeks.